Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. Today we're in the JF-17 and we're looking at the air-to-ground function of the KLJ-7 radar in this aircraft. So the first thing is we go into air-to-ground master mode. Now we're not going to be looking at weapons today, but I am equipping weapons just to help display the points that I'm going to be trying to make. So if we go to air-to-ground, then we automatically get our ground radar up here. Get rid of our stick. First option we have is what setting we want it. Map, GMTI, C1, C2 and BCN. Probably the first thing I should say at this point is that this is very much a work in progress radar. Only some of the functionality works at the moment and it is very bugged. I'm sure you'll all agree if you've played around with it. So map is going to be our basic ground mapping. GMTI, don't know what it is yet. Beacon, BCN, don't know what it is yet. C1 is for looking out on sea targets that are not moving. C2 is for looking at targets of the sea that are moving. So these are all basically the same thing, but they have slightly different filters trying to find what you are trying to find. So we're going to go for C1, but look for static sea targets, which is what we've got today. We've got a bunch of random ships in random places. They're all standing still or moving very slowly, mixed in with a bunch of islands, which is going to make it difficult, and we've got to find the ships. Next is RBN, which is just the basic sea search mode that we're in at the moment. We can stand by the radar if we want. We can turn the radar to complete silent emission. We've got control here, and all we've got in control at the moment is the ability to declutter it with this information here, and we can get rid of that. Obviously our range, and a lot of these commands, as well as being done by these OSBs, can be done by the S2 four-way toggle function, so I can go backwards and forwards, and you can see, so 40 miles would be 0 there and 40 there. Freeze. This is supposed to freeze frame what you see at the moment, non-functional at the moment. SP, do we want snowplow mode, which is our basic mode where we can slew it round wherever we want, or we can have slave, where it will slave to our current speed. We're going to have snowplow because we want this to be the master. We've got our speed gate, so if we want to look for vessels around the 7 knot range, we go to low. H is high speed, that's vessels around 15 knot range. We're going to go to low. This here, we are based there by the way. That's 10 miles, 20 miles, 30 miles, 40 miles in this with this range setting. This here is our time until we get to our current speed. This here is the nautical miles distance to our current speed. Our current speed is set at waypoint 1, which we might even be able to see. In fact, there it is. They're 54 miles away there. Got our flight instruments here. That is our barometric altitude. That is our current heading, and that is our current speed CAS. You can see that our master arm is on and ready. We can change the gain here from 1 to, I think 0 to 10, 1 to 10. It doesn't seem to have a much effect from what I found. We've got our azimuth of coverage. That is 60 degrees left, 60 degrees right, 15 degrees left, 15 degrees right, 30 degrees left, 30 degrees right. Just like an airborne radar, the wider you make the search, the more stuff you can see, but the less accurate, the less definition you've got. The tighter you make the beam, like an air-to-air radar, the better definition you get. So generally 15 or 30 is what you use. You're very rarely going to use 60. You just won't get any useful data from it. This here is the elevation of our radar antenna. As you can see, it's going down in bars, and it's currently down at -8 degrees, I think that is. That will self-orientate depending on your altitude, so we don't have to worry about that, but that's just so you can see what it's doing. Note that if we make the scan azimuth skinnier, then the bars scan a lot quicker, and vice versa. So the refresh rate is much quicker, lower the azimuth. Next, we're going to show that we can designate a SPI from here. So first we're going to make sure that it's soy, which it is. If it wasn't, then we could use S1 off to ensure it's soy with that guy there. Next, we're going to use our TDC keys up, down, left and right to maneuver the TDC cursor around. We can use lock to lock up a SPI, unlock to unlock the SPI. So we're going to move around to whatever. It's cool because as you can see, that is what we're scanning. That's the 15 or 30 degrees we're scanning. And as you can see, it moves around with us like that, which is just super cool. So we're going to look for a ship. And this all comes down to the skill of the operator, knowing what to look for. I could tell you that there is a ship. You can tell by its definition how little depth it has, and how the center is much brighter than the outside. That usually means that's a high point, and that would usually be, you know, the forecast or the top bit of the ship, if you like. So we're going to find that. My keys are a bit too sensitive at the moment, but that there is nearest damn it on that ship there. We're now going to press the target lock button. That's now locked, and it says it's 43 miles away, which is actually further than I thought. I'm actually going to zoom in a little far for me. And we're going to start again. We're going to target unlock. Plenty of contacts to look at. That guy there looks rather handsome. Let's go and get a look at him. It can be a little fiddly, I'm not going to lie, so just be patient with it. That there is about as close as I can get with my current kind of resolution of movement. I'm going to press lock there. It's saying that he is 5 minutes and 10 from us. He is 23.5 nautical miles. And I've also set a SPI. So our SPI is down there. It's probably out of our view range of our HUD. So I'm just going to unpause it and go and have a look at him. Whoops. Ping. And I'm going to repause. And we can see that it is indeed that ship there. You can see I'm off by a few hundred feet. And that is simply because my TDC is not accurate. I don't have an accurate enough TDC. You can change the accuracy of the TDC movement, by the way, in the special options of the aircraft from the main menu. Let's just try locking one more other guy up. I'm going to assume that that might be an island because its depth is quite high. I may be wrong. I'm, certainly no expert at this. But I'm going to try locking another one up. How about that guy there? Interesting. So I'm going to undesignate first, and then I'm going to redesignate with target lock. I've now locked that guy 32.4 miles, 7 minutes 20, and we can see him. We're going to have to just shift back here. Let's go back. Okay, and let's pause again. And you can see I've bang on got that battleship or that carrier or whatever that is, got that much more accurate. As well as they're creating that speed there, you can see it's put through the coordinates through to our missile here, which we'll go through in the missile videos. And just to prove that works again, if I were to undesignate and designate somewhere else, so I don't know, over there, you can see it's punched the speed coordinates direct through, in this case, to our 802 missile, which is interesting stuff. Next, we're going to look at using it over terrain, where it's equally as useful. Now we're over the desert, and we're going to be looking for a column of tanks. Now, that is not the column of tanks, that's something else I set up for testing. But what I can show you is that about 17 miles away, off to our left, off to our port slightly, is a platoon of tanks moving through the desert. Very hard to spot. What I want to do is employ some weapons on those tanks, but I've got to find them first. Finding them with a T-pod is going to be very hard because I won't even have the slightest idea where to look. We're going to use our radar to guide our T-pod. So, air-to-ground mode. Weapons we're going to deploy today are our LS-6s. And what we can do, in fact, is put them through here so that we can see these guys, these coordinates here changing. We're going to be using map today. So what we've got is absolutely nothing of any use out there. We've got 40 miles scan range. We should be seeing those tanks, but we're not. So we're going to start messing around with our settings. The most powerful tool we've got is our azimuth again. So we're going to change to 15. And immediately, you see that's come up there? That there is almost certainly the platoon of tanks. Again, I may be wrong, but let's try and find that. Again, this can be fiddly, but suck it up. So I've got that there. I'm not going to designate yet because I need to set my T-pod up first. And I don't need to use my T-pod, but to be accurate and realistic, I would use my T-pod. So we go here. T-pod, on, cage, and slave. It's going to be slaved now to my speed, and it's going to be slaved to my radar. Now, there is a bug. As you can see, it goes buggy when I have the T-pod screen on. They know about it. They're going to fix it. We're going to make sure that this is stored here. It is. And then I'm going to press the target button. Ping. And like magic, the T-pod has slaved to that radar position. So what we're going to do now is zoom in and see if it's given us anything useful. And it has. It's given us a platoon of tanks. We need to make this story now. Ping. And if I zoom in, it's put us that close, maybe 200 feet away from a platoon of tanks. And that was without even an accurate TDC. So I could have got even more accurate than that if I wanted. At this point, then you can take over here on the T-pod, lock up the target like that, employ the weapon on the target. That's where it lies at the moment. Like I said, a lot of features aren't in there and a lot of it's just not working, but you can use it for finding ships at the moment. You can use it for finding tanks and stuff like that. I hope that's useful. See you later.